Making progress. The A's get their first win at home. That's next on Curveballs and Changeups, a baseball podcast straight out of Sacramento. I'm Steve Harmon, and this is a podcast for A's fans and baseball fans in general. No straight fastballs here, folks, just a bunch of off-speed pitches to keep the hitters off balance. Maybe a few cutters and some riding heat just to keep you honest. I played the game. I once hit a grand slam home run in an over 30 baseball league. Sure, it was off a 46-year-old airline pilot, and the wind was blowing out, but I got a good swing on it and sent it over the left field fence, 360 feet out. I covered the Bash Brothers A's as a sports writer in the 1980s and early 90s. I've been a baseball fan since 1967 when the kid down the block introduced me and my brothers to the game. I went to my first Major League game in 1969 when my dad took us to the Oakland Coliseum to watch the A's play the Twins. My podcast tries to fill the gap that may be left out on other platforms. But also, I want to be sure that we don't let the season get away from us. We should stop for a moment and look around, allow just what just happened sink in a bit, make sure we don't forget some of the high notes and some low ones too, before we move along too quickly onto the next game and the next. And a note, I've decided to split up my analyses of the A's and the Giants. I just figured that A's fans don't necessarily want to have to wade through my material on the Giants and vice versa, so we're going to keep them separate. And of course, if you want to listen to both, they're both out there for you to find. Before I get going on some of my material from the last few games, I did want to note that there was some news today from the Associated Press that said that the A's were on track for June groundbreaking in Las Vegas. So apparently they made some movement with the board, the Clark County Commission, which approved land use permits last week, and then that was followed by the unveiling of new stadium renderings and the announcement of a Las Vegas patch on the players' uniform sleeves for the next 3 seasons. And but they say that basically there's nothing that would block putting shovels in the ground. I know that's hard news for a lot of A's fans. They are still holding out hope that it just won't happen. But the A's president, Mark Badane, the man who was brought in to finish the Las Vegas project, said it's on track for a June groundbreaking for the $1.75 billion, 33,000-person capacity ballpark that's supposed to open for the 2028 season. The quote is, quote, "Locally, everybody knows this project is going to happen," Badane said. "Nationally, there are a lot of skeptics. There will always be a lot of skeptics. There's a lot of people that make a living out of questioning the success of sports venues and what they actually do for a community. You're never going to eradicate that negativity. It's just out there." Well, obviously he's feeling the heat from A's fans who don't want it to happen, but I just want to make sure I updated you on that. And so back to the actual game of baseball. The A's are 5-8 now after dropping 2 of 3 to the San Diego Padres, but that series was actually a series of progress for the team. They played 2 one-run games in their losses. They lost the opener 5-4, and then the second one they lost the finale 2-1. Very competitive in both games, and then of course in their victory, just a nice outburst from the bats, a 10-4 win. Remember, the A's are playing some of the tough teams in the major leagues. The Cubs have become one of the hottest teams in the major leagues. They've gone on to continue their success after leaving Sacramento. And the Padres have the top record in the National League West. They're one of the more dynamic teams in the major leagues. And the A's played them tough in all 3 games. So something good to come out of that for sure. Now, I'll get back to the most recent 3-game series, but I wanted to update you on what's coming up. They do have 3 more games at home before going back onto the road. They have 3 games with another tough National League team, the New York Mets. They're 8-4, and they had a 6-game winning streak that was just broken Sunday when they got shut out by the Marlins. They bring in marquee players, Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, and Francisco Lindor into the ballpark. It'll be fun to watch them play right here in Sacramento, and it'll be fun to see how the A's pitchers take them on. Actually, the Mets are hitting only .210 as a team, so maybe the A's pitchers catch them at a low point. They've only hit 9 home runs in their first 12 games, and in 6 games on the road, they're hitting only .188. So that's something that the A's can maybe take advantage of. But the Mets pitching has been what has kept them afloat, and they have a 2.10 team ERA. The matchups will be for the weekend. J.P. Sears will go up against Griffin Canning, who's a familiar face from the Angels over all those years. This year he has just one loss, but a 2.79 ERA. And then that's on Friday. And then on Saturday, the A's have not announced yet who the starting pitcher will be. I'm thinking it'll be Mitch Spence. And he'll be stepping into the rotation probably for Joey Estes, who was sent down to the minor leagues. And he'll be, or whoever it is, TBA, will be going up against David Peterson, who is 1-0 with a 2.53 ERA. And then on Sunday, it'll be Luis Severino going up against Kodai Senga, who is 1-1 with a 1.80 ERA coming back from injury. Last year, he only pitched in 5 innings, 1 game. So he's going to probably be limited in his innings. In fact, all Mets starters have been limited. They've been averaging only 5 innings a start. So the A's hitters should be able to get into their bullpens, although that may not be necessarily a great thing. They have been just as good. Excuse me. Still have this, the remnants of a cold. So back to this week. The A's lost 2 of 3, as I said, to the Padres. Much more competitive, losing those 2 one-run games, 5-4. Severino pitched that opener in which they lost 5-4. He gave up 3 runs in the first inning, which has been a pattern, or had been a pattern, for the A's starting pitchers. They give up a big spot in the first inning, not just 1 run, but usually 3 or more runs, and it puts the A's in an immediate hole. And kudos to Severino for going a solid 7, pitching, keeping the A's close all the way into the 7th inning. It was 4-3 after 6. When he gave up a home run to Fernando Tatis to give it a little more separation. But once again, Severino gave them a chance to win. And then in the finale, the A's lost on Wednesday 2-1, and starting pitcher Osvaldo Bido went 5 innings. The bullpen went 4 scoreless. Bido looked good, was out after 5 because he had thrown 91 pitches. But once again, he was competitive, and they went down basically because the bats went cold. But in between, the A's got their first win at home, a 10-4 win, and they overcame a 3-0 first inning deficit. When they scored 3 runs in the top of the first off of Jeffrey Springs, here we were thinking, here we go again. I was at the ball game, actually. I went to Tuesday night's game and Wednesday's afternoon game, and it was quite a scene. I'll hopefully I can describe it a little bit, but yes. So after a 3-0 deficit, I think a lot of A's fans were thinking, here we go again. But then the A's came back with a 6-run first inning, an explosion against the Padres' top starter, Dylan Cease. And they went on to score 9 runs against him in 4 innings, which is the most runs he's ever given up in a game. And that 6-run rally was a merry-go-round for sure. They did not hit a home run until later in the game, but this was just a series of base hit after base hit. I'll get at that in just a second. But I did want to describe the scene a little bit. I've been to Sacramento Rivercats games for years. I've gone to Rivercat games first when they were under the A's, and then when they became the Giants AAA team. And you go to the ballpark, and really feels almost the same. There of course, are some major upgrades in terms of the sound system, the video board, very highly professional. The sound system is clear, and in previous years there were definite times when you could hear the crackle of the PA system. But no, this one, beautiful sound system, beautiful video and visuals, but still it's a AAA ballpark. And right now it appears as if the A's fans are not coming out in as big a force as you would expect at this point. I would say that I saw, I don't know, maybe 40% were Padres fans, more mustard and brown jerseys than green and gold, I have to say. So I think the A's fans are still holding back. I think there's residual resentment still over the loss of the A's in Oakland. You could hear some faint kind of protest cries for "Let's go Oakland," that kind of thing. But so it feels as if the team has not yet been fully adopted by Sacramento. I think the Sacramento is going to have to start coming out a little more in support of the A's to show them the appreciation. But here they are. It's a placeholder situation for them, and with the news that Las Vegas is breaking ground, that does not spell well for Sacramento fans to fully adopt the team. All right, so that was my observation of the ballpark, going there personally. And I wanted to look at some bright spots that came out of this last 3-game set. Take a look at the leaderboard. Jacob Wilson, the rookie shortstop, has been magnificent. He is now second in all of the major leagues in hitting at .396 behind the Toronto Blue Jays' George Springer, who's hitting .447. He also leads the American League in hits with 19. And then there's Tyler Soderstrom, who has been just magnificent, the source of power for the A's. He's tied with Aaron Judge for the major league lead in homers with 6. He's also second in slugging at .771, third in hits with 17, and runs with 10. All right, so let's go back to Jeffrey Springs' start in that Tuesday night game. Remember, he gave up those 3 runs in the first inning, but he settled in, retiring 15 of the final 17 batters he's faced. And of course, it helped to have a 9-4 lead after 3 innings. One fun moment to watch, he actually struck out Manny Machado, the Padres' great slugger, twice. The first time was on a slow slider and 2 changeups. Saw him fishing, and the next time was a full count 91-mile-an-hour fastball that he blew by him because Machado obviously was looking for the slow stuff. So worked him professionally. Mark Kotze, the manager, was really pleased with Springs' performance. He said, "To get 6 innings out of him was more than impressive. It shows his fight, shows his desire to still be out there. At 90 pitches after 5 innings, I went and talked to him. He wanted to continue, wanted to stay out there. So watching him go out there through that 6th inning was outstanding. He ended up throwing 103 pitches, went 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 7 hits, walked 2, and struck out 4. Now that 6-run first inning was just delightful. It was just a great way for the A's to finally introduce themselves to the fans. It started out with a Butler base hit, and then with 1 out, Soderstrom walked, but the scoring didn't happen until there were 2 outs. And that's when the barrage of hits came. And it started when J.J. Bleday, on an 0-2 count, hit a beautiful 2-run double in the gap, driving in both Butler and Soderstrom. That put him on the board, and I think A's fans were just happy enough to be back in the game. And then there was Miguel Andujar, who had also on an 0-2 count, hit a nice RBI single up the middle. Kind of a looping line drive to center field to drive in Bleday to tie it up. Then Jacob Wilson, then we had a series of first pitch base hits. Jacob Wilson had a base hit to left field. Then Gio Urshela had a first pitch double to left field to score 2. That was his biggest hit of the year. I mean, up to that point, Urshela really had been a non-factor, and in fact had contributed to the possible injury of Soderstrom on a terrible throw to first base that drew him off the bag and into the pathway of the base runner. Soderstrom later, it turned out that he suffered a contusion of his calf, had to be removed from that game. That was the same game we're talking about, Tuesday night. He did return Wednesday, but he could still be facing stiffening of that calf because of that. But anyway, Urshela did have that RBI, a 2-run double, and then Max Muncy capped off that 6-run rally with another first pitch base hit to left field, and that gave the A's a 6-3 lead after 1. Padres tightened it up with a run in the second to 6-4, but then the A's added on with 3 more in the third inning: a walk, an infield single, a base hit to left field that went under the left fielder's glove for 2 runs, and then Urshela came up with another double. This one just one of those high bounders down the line that even Manny Machado didn't even make a move toward, because he knew that thing was just not going to be fieldable. And then J.J. Bleday added a home run in the 8th inning to make it 12 straight games that the A's hit a home run to start the season, which extended their record. That record ended the next day when they did not hit a home run. That was a 2-1 loss on Wednesday. They were shut down on 2 hits. They got 5 walks, but just did not get any offense going. And that was interesting because, I think a lot of folks, including probably a lot of the players on the A's, worried that this is going to become a bandbox. But, I've been to enough games in Sacramento that were low scoring, 2-1, 3-2, 1-0 games, where I knew that the conditions could change and you would not have the same kind of offensive outburst that you'd seen early on here. And Mark Kotze did mention that in his comments after the game. He said the park played differently. And he said, we found out that the winds changed directions. And sure enough, unfortunately, they hurt the A's cause when on Wednesday they had 2 blasts that would have been home runs on any other day. But Tyler Soderstrom's fly ball to deep center field was caught at the wall in the 3rd inning, and then J.J. Bleday's fly ball was caught at the wall in right center field. Those balls would have been easy home runs just a day before. So, but that could work both ways. The pitchers can have confidence on those kinds of days that they won't get stung by the long ball either. And on Wednesday, Osvaldo Bido, as I said, went 5 innings, gave up 9 hits, but really, he did get out of a couple of jams, but was pretty much in control for a guy who gave up 9 hits. He limited San Diego to 2 runs. He looked very impressive at times. The first run he gave up was on 3 bloopers, so not good contact. He worked out of a jam really nicely in the 1st inning when he had runners at 1st and 3rd with 1 out and struck out Larry Sheets and then got a fly out to keep the Padres off the board. That was the first time a Sacramento pitcher had kept the opposition off the board in the 1st inning. And then back to Monday, Severino, as I said, had pitched 7 innings. He was pretty stalwart. He's the guy he's the leader of the staff who is going to give you innings and keep you in the game, and that's what he did on Monday. He once again fell behind 3-0 in the 1st inning, kept it close 4-3 through 6 innings until he gave up that homer to Tatis in the 7th. He is somebody to definitely rely on in that rotation. And a note about the bullpen, they went 9 scoreless in those 3 games against the Padres. And it was fun to watch each one of them come out. Now, look, I'm in favor of pushing the starters further, as you'll hear in my comments later on here. But it is good to know that the A's have a bullpen that you can rely on. So going backwards from Wednesday, Angel Perdomo came on after Beto came in the sixth inning and went one scoreless inning. And I didn't realize how massive he is. He's 6'8", 6'8", 265 pounds. And yes, you can see it on the mound, but where you actually saw it was when he had to cover first base on a little chopper between the mound and first base. He was late on the coverage. I forget who the base runner was, the hitter was, but Perdomo, you could see, is not one of your most athletics, and was late covering on that, but was able to pitch out of that jam with really beautiful stuff. He had a slider working. He had a 98 mile an hour fastball. The A's were lucky to pick him up, and that was just about a week and a half ago that they got him, and he'll be interesting to watch as we go on. Then Noah Murdock came in with 2 scoreless. He's showing more that he's a kid who they will use and rely on out of that bullpen. He seems fearless. He's a young guy who just has a great arm, 95 mile an hour easy, and then but also has some other stuff, the good slider that keeps him off balance. The Justin Sterner outing on Wednesday was fun to watch. He went 2/3 of an inning, and he became the first pitcher to strike out Luis Arraez of the Padres. Arraez had gone 59 at bats without a strikeout, and he's one of the elite hitters of the league. He went 0 for 5 on Wednesday, so the A's really shut him down. But the Sterner strikeout of Arraez was also impressive from the fact that he actually hit Arraez with a slider that broke in so far that Arraez could not check his swing. He was called out on strikes on a pitch that hit him on his left thigh. And he was left crumpled on the ground in the batter's box as everybody walked off the field with a strikeout. It was one of the more humiliating moments, I think, for Arraez, not only for striking out, but striking out on a ball that hit him. That was a pretty fun moment for Justin Sterner. But he was relieved. He had runners at first and second, and Akatse went to the bullpen, went with T.J. McFarland, the lefty. The Padres countered him with Gurriel, the veteran Gurriel, who grounded out to third base to end the inning. So that was a big out to keep it at 2-1. Unfortunately, the A's were unable to come back after that. On Tuesday, the A's bullpen consisted of Jose Leclerc with 1 scoreless, Sterner with 1 scoreless, and then Tyler Ferguson, who struck out the side for the end of the game. That was the 10-4 win. And then on Monday, Perdomo went 2/3 and Murdock went 1 1/3. Murdock appears to be a guy who can throw you more than 1 inning. All right, well, that's it for the A's right now. We're looking forward to the series with the New York Mets coming up. But I have this segment that I had in the most recent episode that I'm going to continue to go at, and that is the 100 pitch follies. It's a roll call of all the managerial decisions to yank starting pitchers who are doing just fine. It's become a pet peeve of mine. I am more and more obsessed with the problem out there of teams relying on relievers and really when they don't have to. Teams pulling their starting pitchers without a real need. These starting pitchers are doing just fine, and it just feels like almost kind of a knee-jerk move to get them out of the game as quickly as possible. So without further ado, here is just a list of just these moments in which the starting pitchers were yanked wrongly. Baltimore, Zach Eflin had gone 6 innings, a 4-hit ball, allowed just 1 run, and had just thrown 73 pitches, and yet was yanked, and 3 relievers were needed to finish that game in a 5-1 win. Toronto's Jose Barrios, He's a veteran who's been known to go deep. Was taken out after 7 innings and 88 pitches. Had given up just 4 hits and 1 run. Was taken out in a 6-2 win, and just that means you had to go in for 2 innings of relief. The Cubs' Justin Steele had a shutout going, a 3-hit shutout going after 7 innings. Only 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, had thrown just 91 pitches, but taken out, and all the glory of a shutout gets split between him and 2 other relievers in a 7-0 win. Detroit's Casey Mize had given up just 1 run on 4 hits in 6 innings and thrown only 88 pitches in a 6-2 win. But was taken out with no real threat or anything. Just 88 pitches was enough for his manager, A.J. Hinch. The Astros' Hayden Wesneski had gone 3-hit ball in 7 innings, allowed only 2 runs, walked nobody, thrown only 82 pitches, but taken out. And then Houston loses that game 4-3 after bringing in the bullpen to start the 8th inning. Wesneski had a 3-2 lead, watched the bullpen blow it, and that there went his chances at a victory and the Astros' chances. I mean, why not keep him in? You have better shot winning the game with your starter. In the same game, Seattle Mariner starting pitcher Logan Gilbert had given up just 1 hit over 5 2/3 innings. That was a home run, but just 1 run. Had walked 2, struck out 7, but he had thrown 99 pitches. And so after the home run, he had struck out the next guy, but he walked Yordan Alvarez. And because he has a 2-1 lead, and I guess they want to protect his chances at, just make sure he doesn't lose, they take him out of the game. And that game, the Mariners did wind up winning 4-3 over the Astros, but Logan Gilbert did not get credit for the win. Let's see, the Royals' Mike Lorenzen had gone 6 innings, only 1 run, 5 hits, no walks. I mean, very efficient, 89 pitches, but was taken out with a 4-1 lead. He got the win, but they had to use 3 relievers to finish the game. The Dodgers' Dustin May gave up just 1 earned run in 6 innings, and had thrown only 86 pitches, but he left with the Dodgers down 3-2 because of a couple of unearned runs. But, keep him in the game and maybe they score some runs for him and he gets a win. But the bullpen immediately gives up 3 runs and the Dodgers lose 6-4. Not that I don't disagree with the idea of the Dodgers losing or the Dodgers manager with making a foolhardy decision to take out his pitcher who's doing very well, but still, that is yet another example of a manager putting the ball in the hands of a bullpen who you may not be able to rely on every day. The Mets' Kodai Senga, I don't know, maybe this one isn't fair because he's coming back from an injury-plagued season, so he was taken out after 5 innings of shutout ball, only 77 pitches, but maybe that's the pitch count that he's on. I can understand that with pitchers who are coming back from injury, but not all of these pitchers are coming back from injury. In fact, not that many are. So that isn't the rationale that's driving these early departures. The rationale is just keeping pitchers under that 100-pitch limit. But then it turns out that, since you're closing in on 90 pitches, which is close to 100 pitches, we're going to take you out before that. Even the Giants' Bob Melvin was succumbed to the problem of yanking pitchers too early. Logan Webb had 7 shutout innings going. He had struck out 10, given up only 4 hits in his matchup against Hunter Green and the Reds. But Melvin takes him out after 97 pitches, and of course, the very next inning, Camilo Doval gives it up, and the Giants lose. And even with Hunter Green had gone 8 2/3 shutout innings. He was leading, 1-0, and had runners at first and second, but he had 2 outs in the 9th inning. 1 more out, he could have had a shutout. But Terry Francona comes out and pulls him because he didn't want him to lose the game with runners at first and second. So he brings in his relief, who almost coughed it up, but a nice diving catch saved him. By the way, Hunter Green had thrown 104 pitches in 8 2/3 innings. His last pitch was at 100 miles an hour. Let's see, that was on Wednesday. So Tuesday, the Giants pulled Landon Roop after 6 innings, giving up only 1 run on 7 hits, 81 pitches, and he lost 1-0 to the Reds. That same game, Nick Lodolo had gone 6 shutout innings, only 3 hits against the Giants, but was pulled because he had thrown 87 pitches. I mean, he's fortunate that the bullpen didn't blow it, but you would think that these pitchers would have enough desire to stay on the mound so that the burden doesn't have to shift to the bullpen every time. The Blue Jays rookie Easton Lucas had gone 5 1/3 innings, no runs, 3 hits, struck out 8, but was taken out after 82 pitches. He had a 4-0 lead, but they took him out because he had given up a 1-out single. They used 5 relievers to finish that game, a 6-1 win over the Boston Red Sox. I'm telling you, that is going to add up for the relievers over time. So I'm hoping that managers, start adjusting this a little bit as they go forward. And I'm hoping what they're doing is they're building up the arm strength so these guys can go, past 100 pitches. I'm not so confident in that. The Guardians' Ben Lively had gone 5 shutout innings, 2 hits, only 80 pitches, but he was taken out. And then it turns out that the Indians had to use 5 relievers to complete the shutout. And Ben Lively didn't even get to the decision on that. Our Guardians scored late to get that win. In that same game, the White Sox starter, Shane Smith, had gone 6 shutout innings, only 2 hits, 6 strikeouts, thrown only 83 pitches, but was taken out, and he gets a no decision. There's just no glory anymore in being a starting pitcher. Milwaukee's Freddie Peralta, he's a veteran. He's got the arm strength. He's a big guy. But for some reason, they had him out after 5 innings and 83 pitches, and they used 4 relief pitchers to get the 7-1 win. I mean, I guess they're being cautious with him for some reason. I'll have to take a look at that, but Peralta has been known to go deep into games. The Tigers, Tarek Skubal, remember him, the Cy Young Award winner from last year? He gets taken out after 6 shutout innings. Only 87 pitches, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He had a 5-0 lead over the New York Yankees. They wind up winning 5-0, but I can tell you now that the Yankee hitters were happy to see him gone. I think the Tigers were fortunate that the bullpen was able to hold on to that, but there's no guarantee. You did have more of a guarantee of success with Skubal on the mound. Let's see. Houston's Framber Valdez had gone 6 scoreless, a 2-hitter over 6, but thrown 94 pitches, and he was taken out. That game ended in a 1-0 Houston Astros win in 12 innings. So he wasn't going to go 12 innings, and so he was never going to get to the decision. But that meant you had to throw another 5 relievers out there to finish the game. The Kansas City Royals' Cole Reagans, he's one of the top pitchers in the league. He had gone 6 innings, only 1 run, 11 strikeouts. But he gets a no decision in a 2-1 win over the Reds because he gets taken out after 96 pitches. Thanks a lot. I mean, these guys who are so good, they're winning the Cy Young Award now with only 13, 14, 15 wins because they're throwing great, but their win-loss record just it does not get improved by the manager's decisions. Then there's the Tampa Bay Rays' Shane Baz, who had allowed just 2 runs on 3 hits over 7 innings, but was pulled after 96 pitches. He left with a 3-2 lead, but hey, his bullpen gave up the winning runs, and the Angels wind up defeating the Rays 4-3. So he doesn't get the loss, but he doesn't get the win. Let's see. Then on Wednesday, or is this Monday? I think it was Monday. Arizona's Brandon Pfaadt goes 6 scoreless, 4 hits, 93 pitches, but gets taken out in a 9-0 win. Why not let him go further? There's no fear of losing the game, right? I mean, a lot of these decisions that are made are because they want to make sure that their starter doesn't get tagged with a loss. Well, he wasn't going to lose that, so why not push him a little further? Save your bullpen. The Red Sox Tanner Houck had gone 6 2/3 innings, only 1 run, 5 hits, but was taken out in a 1-1 tie. This guy's one of your top pitchers, and you take him out in a close game. He had just gotten a ground ball double play, had a runner on third base, but a rookie, Alan Roden, coming up. He can't get a rookie. You don't rely on your veteran star on the mound to get a rookie with a runner on third base with 2 outs. Oh, by the way, the bullpen loses later on 2-1 in the 11th inning. Just a nice workout for Tanner Houck. In the same game, Toronto Blue Jays' Kevin Gausman goes 8 scoreless. I'm sorry. Well, he gave up 1 run, but it was an unearned run. So 8 innings, no earned runs on only 4 hits, no walks, struck out 10, but gets taken out after 93 pitches. And, of course, the reliever gets the vulture win with 2 scoreless innings. And then there's the Rangers' Tyler Mahle, who goes 7 innings, allows only 2 hits, 1 run, but gets taken out after 94 pitches. There's Bruce Bochy again, I guess saving his starting pitchers for later, but remember, you're using your bullpen, and your bullpen is going to get tired. That was with a 6-1 lead, so, there was no real need to use a reliever in that moment other than to, worry about the 94 pitches that your starter threw. And then there was the Detroit Tigers' John Flaherty. Now, he's been in big games. He's a veteran. He knows what it takes to win. So he goes 5 1/3 innings of scoreless ball, gives up only 3 hits, struck out 9, but he's taken out in a 0-0 game. Scoreless tie. You take out one of your top pitchers after 92 pitches. And then, of course, the Yankees score 2 the next inning out of the bullpen, and they win 4-3. What's the value of having a guy like John Flaherty if you don't want to use him to hold on to at least a 0-0 tie? In that same game, the Yankees' Max Fried had gone 7 scoreless, only 5 hits, no walks, 11 strikeouts. It's a masterpiece he's throwing, but he gets taken out after 97 pitches. The bullpen almost blows it, gives up 3 runs in the 9th inning, barely holding on for a 4-3 win. But how would Max Fried be thinking if that bullpen had blown it? I mean, Max Fried is one of the elites of the game. He had thrown a masterpiece, and you take him out. Then there's the Houston Astros' Hunter Brown. He goes 6 scoreless, 2 hits, no walks, but he's right at the cusp of that 100-pitch barrier. 98 pitches, and they take him out. And, of course, 4 relievers come in, combined to give up 7 runs over the last 2 2/3 innings, and they lose 7-6. I hope they learned their lesson on that. Hunter Brown can probably go a little more. Give him 1 more inning, and maybe you don't, cough it up over the next 2 2/3. There's, the Twins' Joe Ryan. He's 7 scoreless, 2 hits, no walks. Nobody's doing anything off him. He's only thrown 85 pitches, but they take him out. Thankfully, 2 relievers do come in and hold him down for a combined shutout. But where's the glory for Joe Ryan? I mean, give him another inning at least. Maybe 2 innings, he gets you 110 pitches for the shutout. Miami has a kid by the name of Max Meyer, who had gone 6 2/3 scoreless innings, only 2 hits. But he had thrown all of 82 pitches and was taken out after giving up a leadoff single and a fly ball to left field. Taken out because the lead was just 2-0, and they didn't want to hurt his feelings by letting him give up a game-tying home run. I mean, what kind of thinking is that? Why do you think that your pitcher is going to give up the lead when he's thrown so well up to that point? And then there was the Pittsburgh veteran Mitch Keller, who goes 7 1/3, no runs, 4 hits, but he's taken out in once again a 0-0 game. Runners are at first and second. He's at 96 pitches, so they go race out and rescue him from possible damage, and they get out of it, thankfully, and the game actually winds up going 13 innings before the Pirates win. But another nice little workout for your starting pitcher. And lastly, and worse, in the same game, the Cardinals, Eric Fetty was taken out with a no-hitter after 6 innings. That's no hits, no runs. He walked 4, struck out 2, but taken out with a no-hitter after 88 pitches. And, what used to happen was managers would allow the pitchers to go for that no-hitter, and then they start getting nervous as it got past 100 pitches and maybe get really kind of scared at around 115 pitches if they got through the 8th inning. But at that point, they didn't want to face the heat by taking out a pitcher in the 8th inning or the 9th inning with a no-hitter because of the pitch count. So now they're just kind of shortcutting that and taking him out preventively before really anybody notices that the guy had a no-hitter late. 6 innings, no-hitter, not a big deal. We're just trying to save his arm. All right, well, that's another installment of the 100-pitch follies. And that's all I have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Sacramento's Curveballs and Changeups with me, your host, Steve Harmon. You can find Sacramento's best baseball podcast on Apple Tunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and now I'm on YouTube. So, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts, please hit the subscribe button and so you can get notified when my next podcast is up. Until next time, lay off that slider low and away.